Welcome to the Healthy Perspective Podcast with your host, chiropractor, entrepreneur, mentor, and author, Dr. Chris Bowman. He'll break down and extract the secret sauce behind his own success and the success of some of the top leaders in every category and from around the world. Get ready for your weekly mental adjustment because shift is going to happen.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, we have the honor and the privilege of having Godwin Mordi. He grew up in Africa, and he's a middle child of a family of 5 and was motivated from a really young age to excel both in academics and sports. He was always top of his class, always well-respected through elementary, high school, and was the top of his class going through graduate school or secondary school as well. He's motivated to help athletes and overachievers, especially people that feel overwhelmed, to take back their health and really just be healthier mentally, physically, spiritually, all the aspects of what it takes to continue to excel in life. And as a semi-professional soccer player and working with high achievers, he knows what it takes with the mindset, with the program to help these high achievers really hit that next level. So Godwin, thank you so much for being with us.
Well, thanks for having me, Chris.
Yes, of course. Yes. So tell us a little bit more about how you ended up here, your athletic journey, and what led you into being a coach and personal trainer.
Awesome. Yes. So growing up in Nigeria, we always played soccer barefoot. We didn't have cleats. And I became really good at it. I was playing with guys that were twice my age, but they'll beat me up sometimes when I dribble past them because they thought that was embarrassing then,
Wow.
And I just loved playing sport. I will give up lunch to go play soccer. I will play from 2 p.m. when we get back from school until like 7 or 8 p.m. when it's dinner time. My parents would practically just grab me and hold me by the hand to get me out of the soccer.
That's awesome.
So I wanted to be a pro, but I was good in school and my parents said I should go be a doctor.
Okay.
And I tried to find a profession that balanced my passion for sports and my love for medicine, helping people. And then I came across sports physical therapy. So that was how I became a sports physical therapist. I ended up traveling the world with professional athletes, training them to major international sporting events. And eventually I decided the world was moving away from rehab to more injury prevention. And I decided to complete a master's degree in health and fitness. And so I've been able to come up with a formula that has helped so many people lose body fat, and they've kept it off without having to go through diet or having to go through all of those things that are going on right now where people have heard so much about losing 10 pounds in 2 weeks. I don't do anything like that with the people that we work with.
Yeah, and I love that because the mentality is like you're creating a healthy lifestyle. You're not just trying to do a quick fix,
Exactly.
I love hearing that story. I grew up wanting to be a professional football player, and I had a chance until I realized that I went to a very small school. And when I went to a public high school, I was like, I don't know, maybe 110 pounds going in as a freshman. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't going to work out. And so I wanted to be a chiropractor for, professional athletes. And my path has deviated, a little bit from that, but nevertheless, that's what drew me into, like, I love sports. I love helping people, what combines the two. And so I love how we're on that same, same level and just, making an impact in our own unique, gifting.
Awesome.
So that's amazing. So before we get into our classic questions of purpose and why, as you introduced yourself, I remember that I did want to ask you this proprietary, this formula that you use to help people get better. Can you just describe that real quick? What does that mean? Because most people think, calories in or calories out, that's the only way to lose weight. You either, run your butt off on the treadmill or you just eat 100 calories, a day. So what's kind of your philosophy? What's this formula that you discovered? How did it come to you? And then we'll talk about a little bit at the end. Just resonates with people, how you'll be able to get in contact with Godwin.
Yeah. So it comes about years of study. Like I said, my background is in sports physical therapy. So knowledge of the human anatomy is absolutely vital to what I do. And also understanding the human posture is absolutely essential. So when most people go to the gym to work out, they have the intention to really put in work, But the truth is, they don't really know if they're doing it right or wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you, let's say you're doing squats and the goal was to load the glutes, the hamstrings, and also engage the core. Those are the three primary muscles you're looking at. For some people, because of how tight their muscles are, it'll pull the pelvis anteriorly and it'll displace the center of gravity anteriorly. So instead of engaging the glutes and the calf muscle or the hamstrings, which are the primary muscles of the core, they end up loading the back muscle, which is supposed to be a secondary muscle, you know? So although they're doing squats, but they're actually hurting themselves. And so that's why most people get out of the gym with back pain or, you know, because they just did not do it right. It's not because they're not putting in work, but that is not the right work. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
That's good. I love that. And I think, you know, as a chiropractor that sees people from the gym and, you know, I just started working out and I got hurt, you know, whatever, I'll ask them, okay, show me what you did. And they'll squat and they look like they're falling over on their toes.
Exactly.
Their psoas is so tight, like there is no squat there, you know? So that's good. I'm glad that I can send people over to you. Like, look, learn how to work out before you actually do it, you know, on your
Exactly.
That's good. Awesome. Cool. Thanks for explaining that. Well, let's get into kind of the classic questions that I like to ask. The first one being, you have a selfless purpose. So there's something that motivates you to change the world. And you found your niche that you love, you know, high achievers. You love working with athletes. You love, you know, working with this population that is the 1%. What is it about, you know, this niche that is giving you some selfless purpose that makes you feel fulfilled at the end of the day? And when you look back, you know, on your life, like, man, that was a good life. Like we did good things.
Yes. So for pro athletes, like I connect with them personally because I'd wanted to be like one of them.
Yes.
And so let's say I'm working with professional soccer players. They can actually value my knowledge and experience in the game, even if I'm not playing at the professional level. Because I remember when we were working with the U17 Nigerian team that won the World Cup, U17 FIFA World Cup.
Yeah.
The coach sometimes will want to cut a player from the team, but I'll tell him to just give the player a couple of days. Do you know something that I don't know? I'll be like, coach, don't worry about it. It's patient client confidentiality, right? You know?
Right.
And so I'll give that player a couple tips. Maybe they were hurt and they didn't want to let the coach know. So I'll take time to rehab them. It could just be a minor injury or maybe just the loss of confidence, you know? And then I'll help them get back to where they needed to be. And so when they go back to the field, they're just giving a different performance from what they were used to. And then the coach will look at me, he'll be like, thank you very much.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. And, you know, I think that's unique because, you know, most people look at celebrities or professional, you know, soccer players or maybe even just their waitress and they don't really see a person. You know, they see somebody that's working from me or they see somebody that they can't connect with because they don't make $1 million or they're not, you know, in front of, you know, millions of people in front of the camera or whatever. And so that's really unique and needed to be able to see these athletes and celebrities as people, you know,
of course,
that you
absolutely.
can connect with them and meet with them. And I think that's something that is a needed field, you know.
Of course.
Was it Jim Carrey that said something like, I wish everybody could make as much money as they want so they could see that it doesn't buy happiness. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
These people can be just as depressed, go through the same exact things, but nobody cares about them because on the outside, it looks like they have everything. They've made it, so to speak, you know? So that's true. That's awesome. I love that purpose where it's about these people that really are role models. You know, they're people that us and our kids are looking up to, and to know that they have a mentor, you know, someone like you that's going to help them stay on, you know, the straight and narrow and not have to bear the burden of like, what is the right choice? Because if I say something, millions of people will want to follow me, you know? So that's true. That's awesome.
Of course.
Cool. And then on the flip side of things, you know, we are the underlying reason of why we do things, why I'm a chiropractor, why you're, you know, a physical therapist, rehab specialist, high performance coach, is because we want to make the world, you know, a better place. We see our impact going beyond just, you know, 1-to-1, but going 1 to millions. But on the flip side of things, there's got to be some sort of reward for you. You know what I mean? Like primarily, we just have to have this, like, if I'm helping other people make millions of dollars and live a life of their dreams, meanwhile, I'm in a shack, not really, you know, doing what I want, like there's going to be some sort of incongruency that the brain is going to recognize and turn off. And so what is your selfless why? Like what's in it for you working with these athletes?
Yeah, so I know for sure that I wanted to be like them to begin with. And when my career path changed, there's absolutely no regret. I still play semi-professional soccer and I still enjoy it very much.
Mhm.
But I just delved really deep to gain the knowledge that I needed to be able to help them in their career. For example, when I was training the fastest African Olympic athlete of all time, he's from Nigeria as well. I remember there was the heat that was going on. They had to do like tryouts and all of that.
Mhm.
And he ran the first one, he won. And a couple minutes later, they wanted him to run another heat. But they were tired. It was a very hot day, you know. And most of the athletes didn't really want to do another heat, but the coaches were insisting they do it. And so eventually he pretty much strained his hamstrings pretty close to the end of the race. And the Olympic Games was like 3 weeks away. So he threw the entire country into a panic state, you know, because he was our hopeful, gold medal hopeful in the Olympic Games. Yeah. So first thing people did was they just came over to us in the medical field to want to find out if he had the chance to make the Olympic Games. You know, I didn't say a word. Our director of sports medicine just took charge of that, and he called me aside and we came up with a plan for him. Now, with professional athletes, if you tell them to show up to rehab twice a day, they'll show up 10 times a day.
Right.
So they are already self-motivated. And that's the difference between like professional athletes and everybody else. You know, I tell people intrinsic motivation is where it's at. I don't motivate people. I can encourage you. For instance, if I'm training someone and I know they can do like 2 push-ups and they did 1 and they're giving up, I can say, push through, you can do 1 more. Now, that is encouragement. But if they wake up in the morning and they decide, oh, I don't want to work out today, it's too cold.
Right.
That I can't motivate that person to leave their bed to come work out, you know? So if they do not understand that from the beginning, they struggle in their fitness journey, you know, but professional athletes, they understand this. Now we worked with this guy and he was able to get on the Olympic podium of medal winners. So that was one of my greatest accomplishments ever, you know.
That's awesome.
It just shows that I'm on the right track and I can make a difference in people's life. The weight loss journey that I've helped many people go through as well, I've had so many successes from doing that as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, being in a similar field where, you know, I'm sure a lot of the people that you see have gone to many doctors, you know, diagnosed with many different things, been given the option to take many different medications or surgeries or, you know, whatever. And probably sometimes you're their last hope, you know, like they saw a testimonial of someone that you helped and they're like, well, before I go down this route, like, let me see you, you know?
Yes, of course.
And we have, you know, those cases as well. And to be able to like, look at them in the eye and say like, we got this, you know, like we're going to make a difference. Like, I agree. Those moments are like, hollowed. Like it seems like the world around you just freezes, you know, and you're just in this moment of like, okay, like we are going to move forward. Someone's life is going to change, you know. I even get goosebumps just like talking about that, you know.
Me too.
It's those moments where it's like, man, like what an amazing journey that we get to be on with these people, and what a blessing that we can work with these people and not just, you know, lay bricks all day or, you know, like do something like that where it's like, oh my word, like we get to change this person's life, and who knows the influence that person is going to have either on their kids or, you know, like that's
of course.
I'm very similar to you in that way too, where it's like a why for me is like knowing that if I help this one person push through an issue, they may help millions that I would have reached, you know. And
that is true.
I think that's awesome. Yeah, because I mean that one person for Nigeria, you know, the whole, like you said, the whole country was in disarray, and getting it back and ready to perform. I mean, that's a whole country that's like,
it's a whole country.
Like that's huge.
Of course.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Godwin, thank you so much for spending some time with us. I think it was super inspirational and you know, going to be helpful and inspiring for a lot of different people. Now, for people that want to get connected with you, what type of people do you want to work with? What can you do? Let's say they're not where you live, you know, North Carolina. Is there things that you can do online? How can people find out about you?
Yes, so I have courses online currently, and if people want to check me out, they can also check my LinkedIn profile. It's Godwin Mordi.
Okay.
And learn more about me from there, and then connect with me from there. And then I'm also on Instagram at gmordi or Godwin Mordi Fitness. I can reach people from there as well.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking with you, and we will see you guys next time.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Healthy Perspective Podcast. To connect with Dr. Bowman, follow him on Instagram at Dr. Chris Bowman. Until next time, make shift happen.